thought I had it all: a solid marriage, a devoted husband, a peaceful life. But beneath the flawless surface of my existence, a secret fire began to burn, fueled by forbidden desires and dreams that I dared not confess even to myself. Before continuing, subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, while for us it is fundamental. I was 33 years old and had a solid marriage behind me. For 10 years I had shared my life with Lorenzo, a devoted and loving man, but as time passed, the passion had weakened, dissolving into the everyday routine. The nights were always the same, devoid of that electricity that once united us, and so, in the solitude of my mind, I began to dream. Unspeakable desires, strong emotions, overwhelming moments that no longer belonged to my reality. During a business trip to Savona, I decided to treat myself to a different evening. I entered an elegant bar, a refuge away from everyday responsibilities. The glass of red wine in my hands was a subtle pleasure, a small luxury that I allowed myself while observing the world around me. That's when I saw them, 2 men sitting at the counter. Tall, well-dressed, dark skin that stood out under the dim lights. Their gazes were magnetic, intense. They scrutinized me with an interest that triggered a shiver of excitement within me. I knew I could ignore them, look away and walk away, but something inside me rebelled. My body responded before my mind, approaching them with a smile that even I didn't know I possessed. The conversation was fluid, the laughter spontaneous, the gestures full of electric understanding. The desire grew uncontrollable, and when they proposed that we continue the evening in their apartment, there was no hesitation. The heart pounded in the chest, the body vibrated at the idea of something forbidden. The apartment was a refined, modern space with a spectacular view of the illuminated city. The atmosphere was full of anticipation. Every movement seemed like a prelude to something unstoppable. Matteo approached first. His lips found mine in a burning kiss. Behind me, Lorenzo touched my skin with slow and confident gestures. The warmth of his touch ignited every fiber of my being. Inhibitions dissolved, thoughts shattered in a whirlwind of overwhelming sensations. That night was a sensual dance, an intertwining of bodies and desires, a total abandonment to something primordial and irresistible. When dawn bathed the city in light, I remained observing the view from the window. Matteo and Lorenzo slept next to me, their breathing slow and deep. Guilt crept into my mind, stinging and undeniable. But I couldn't deny the truth. I'd had an unforgettable night, a night that I would keep in my heart forever. When I returned home, I found Lorenzo waiting for me with his usual loving smile. My stomach tightened, the knowledge of my secret weighing on me. Yet nothing transpired. That night in Savona would remain mine alone, a forbidden memory stuck in my thoughts. From that day, something inside me changed. The echo of that illicit passion made me realize how much I needed to rediscover the fire that once burned in my marriage. I committed myself to rekindling the flame between me and Lorenzo, organizing romantic evenings, impromptu getaways, trying to instill in our intimacy a desire that seemed lost. He welcomed my attempts with enthusiasm. Our relationship seemed to flourish again. Yet in the silence of the lonely nights, the thoughts of Matteo and Lorenzo once again made themselves heard. A subtle whisper, a glowing memory of a night that no reality could ever match. I received that message when I least expected it, an unknown number, a simple sentence that made me gasp. I missed them. They wanted to see me again. Matteo and Lorenzo. My heart pounded in my chest as the memory of that night washed over me like a rushing wave. Dormant sensations resurfaced with violence, a mixture of desire, excitement, and a thrill of danger to resist. I decided to answer. The meeting took place in a secluded villa on Lake Como, an elegant and silent refuge surrounded by nature. The discreet luxury of the environment made everything even more electrifying. As soon as I crossed the threshold, Matteo and Lorenzo welcomed me with a warmth that immediately ignited something inside me. Their looks, their hands that touched my skin as if wanting to remember every inch of me, made me feel desired in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. But what really happened in that villa on the lake? How much further can desire go when there are no longer any limits? Tell me what you think in the comments. The evening began with a refined dinner, between smiles, glances full of implications, and the subtle rustle of silk against the skin. But the wait, that silent, unspoken agreement between us, was the real attraction. Every gesture, every word was full of tension. We knew well where that night would lead us. When we finally moved into the bedroom, my heart was pounding. The four-poster bed, imposing and soft, seemed to be waiting for us. As soon as the doors closed behind us, passion exploded without restraint. Hands, lips, bodies intertwined in a game of pleasure and desire. Every touch was a fire that burned on the skin. Every kiss was a call that dragged me deeper and deeper. Nothing existed outside that room. Only the warmth of their hands, the labored breathing that mixed with mine, the soft moans that filled the air thick with passion. There was no more room for the outside world, for rationality or for guilt. In that moment I was only instinct, flesh and desire wrapped in their arms, lost in a vortex of pleasure that seemed to have no end. The lake outside reflected the full moon, but I only saw them. I could only feel my skin against theirs, the tension rising higher and higher, the boundaries between us dissolving in one explosion of overwhelming emotion. When finally the breathing calmed and the fire faded, we remained embraced, exhausted and satisfied. In the dim light of the room, I felt a strange peace, a sense of completeness that I hadn't felt in a long time. But I knew it wouldn't last. That night was a moment stolen from reality, a secret kept between silk sheets and held sighs. I woke up before dawn, my heart still full of conflicting emotions. I watched Matteo and Lorenzo sleep next to me, serene, unaware of that whirlwind that was passing through my soul. A wave of affection hit me violently. Those hours would stick with me forever, but I knew I had to leave. I dressed in silence, leaving a note on the bedside table with a few words written in one go. A thank you whispered between the lines, the implicit promise to never forget what we had shared. When I returned home, Lorenzo was there waiting for me. His eyes looked at me with that unconditional love that I knew all too well, but this time the guilt was lighter. I had accepted that there was a dark side inside me, an unspeakable desire that I couldn't erase. However, I also knew that I loved Lorenzo. Maybe in a different way, maybe with a few more nuances, but the feeling was still there. I decided to stay, to try to build something true, without repressing what I was, without denying what I had experienced. The meetings with Matteo and Lorenzo would remain a secret buried in my heart, a forbidden chapter that had taught me a lot. But now my present was here, and for the first time, I felt truly free to be myself. If you want to receive new videos of the series, write "I want the sequel" in the comments. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to receive a preview of future publications. Thank you.